We're so proud of you, Ethan. You've always been the star. My mom raised her glass, her eyes glossy with admiration, her voice carrying across the crowded banquet hall. Dad was nodding along, laughing as if no one else at the table mattered. The applause erupted, my family, my extended relatives, all clapping for my brother's latest award from the State Bar Association. I sat right there beside him, my hand still in my lap. Not a single glance in my direction.
Not a word about me.
Not about the small business I launched this year that just hit 6 figures. Not about the article I published that went viral. Not even about the charity event I organized last month that Ethan couldn't even bother to attend. I smiled.
Tightly.
Then I heard it. From Mom again, almost like she was reading my mind. Rachel, be a dear and take a photo of us? She shoved her phone into my hands like I was the help. I took the picture. 1 click.
2.
A third for safety. And then I walked away. I didn't say a word. Not even when Ethan called after me with a smug grin. Still playing the background role, huh? My heels echoed across the marble floor, my hands trembling, but not from sadness this time. Something had snapped. And I knew, for the first time in my life, I wasn't going to let this slide. It's always been that way with Ethan. He was the golden boy, born with charm and confidence, the kind of kid teachers adored and neighbors bragged about. He played quarterback in high school, landed a full scholarship to college, and somehow managed to make even his failures look graceful. I was the quiet one, not shy, just overlooked. At birthday parties, I blew out my candles while everyone clapped for Ethan because he told a joke that made Uncle Dave spit out his drink. At school, I came home with straight A's while Ethan proudly flaunted a B- like he'd just discovered gravity, and somehow, he still got more praise. He's got potential, they'd say. Rachel, you're so reliable, they'd add, like that was a consolation prize. I remember one Christmas when I spent 2 weeks making a scrapbook for Mom and Dad, full of scanned photos, letters, and notes. I stayed up every night perfecting it. Ethan bought them a last-minute wine set. They opened his first. Everyone laughed, cheered, said, "Oh, you know your father so well." My scrapbook? Barely a nod. They said it was sweet and set it aside. No one even turned the pages. Still, I kept trying. I helped clean up after dinners. I reminded Mom of her medication. I covered for Ethan when he forgot appointments, blamed me for his car breaking down, or missed family events because work was insane. I always made excuses for him. And the worst part? I thought that if I just kept doing more, if I just kept being good, they'd finally see me. I did everything right. I used to whisper to myself at night, "Why is that never enough?" Now I realize. I wasn't invisible. I was just convenient. It was a Sunday afternoon when the final blow came. I had just finished submitting the paperwork to expand my business, my own consulting firm, into 2 more states. Months of sleepless nights, meetings, and meticulous planning. I was proud of myself. I called Mom to share the news. Her voice was tight, distracted. "That's great, honey. But listen, we've got something big happening. Your brother got invited to speak at the governor's gala next month. We're throwing him a party on the 15th. My heart sank. Wait, the 15th? That's the weekend of my award ceremony. I already told you about it, remember? I'm being honored by the Women in Business Council. There was a pause. Then a sigh. Oh, right. That thing. Look, sweetheart, this is a huge opportunity for Ethan. Everyone will be there, your aunts, uncles, the neighbors. It's just easier if we keep things simple. Then, the line that clung to my ribs like ice. Maybe don't come. It might be awkward. Awkward. I would make it awkward. I hung up before I could cry. My phone buzzed again an hour later, a text from Dad. Just want to avoid any confusion. Let's keep the focus on Ethan this weekend. You understand, right?
Yes.
I understood. I wasn't the favorite. I wasn't even the fallback. And I didn't respond. But something inside me shifted. A quiet decision. This was the last time I'd play the supporting role. After that call, I didn't say much to anyone. No dramatic texts. No guilt tripping. I didn't even block their numbers. I just stopped. I stopped replying to group chats. I stopped offering to help with family logistics. No more scheduling flights for mom. No more editing resumes for Ethan's friends. No more, can you just look this over real quick? From anyone. I logged out of our shared family calendar. I canceled the monthly auto transfer I'd been sending to Dad to help with their mortgage, even though no one ever thanked me for it. And I didn't post about my award. Didn't brag. Didn't make noise. I just accepted the plaque in a navy blue dress that made me feel like steel. Took a photo with the mayor. Shook hands with women who'd built empires from scratch. Then I went home, poured a glass of wine, and sat in silence. Not the lonely kind of silence. The powerful kind. For the first time, I wrote in my journal, my silence isn't about fear. It's about freedom. I didn't need their approval anymore. I didn't even want it. Something was shifting. And this time, I wasn't going back. It started with a message request on LinkedIn.
From someone I didn't know.
At least not by name. Her name was Marissa Jennings, and she was the executive director of a local nonprofit I had volunteered for 2 years ago, something I did quietly behind the scenes on weekends. Hi, Rachel. The message read. You may not remember me, but we met when you helped organize the shelter fundraiser in 2021. My sister was one of the residents there at the time. You gave her a coat and sat with her after she had a panic attack. She still talks about it. I froze. That night had slipped from my memory. I didn't do it for recognition. I just did what I wished someone would do for me. Anyway, she continued, I heard your name mentioned by one of the donors recently and realized who you were. I just wanted to say thank you for your kindness back then and for all the behind-the-scenes work you do. You're not invisible, Rachel. I see you. I stared at that message for a long time. I didn't know how she found out about my business or the nonprofit donations I'd made under my LLC. Maybe someone talked. Maybe goodness has a way of echoing when you least expect it. A few days later, I got tagged in a post by one of my old college friends who now worked in journalism. She had shared an article titled, 10 Women Changing Local Economies Quietly but Powerfully. And there I was. A photo of me, mid-speech, with the caption, Rachel Carter, the silent strategist. The one who never needed a spotlight to make waves. That was the moment. Not when my family applauded, not when Ethan noticed because he still hadn't, but when someone outside the noise finally saw the truth. I wasn't the background. I was the foundation. The text came from Mom a week later.
Saw that article about you. Wow.
Let's reset, okay? Maybe plan a family dinner? No apology. No acknowledgement of the years they dismissed me. Just a casual reset, like nothing had happened. 2 days after that, Dad called. I didn't pick up, but he left a voicemail. Hey, kiddo. Look, we might have gotten a little carried away with Ethan's celebration. But you know we love you. Let's put all that behind us. Can you come by Sunday? Ethan will be there too. He wants to talk. I didn't need to listen to the rest. I already knew what it was. Image control. They weren't reaching out because they were proud of me. They were reaching out because people had started noticing me. Their silence used to feel like exile. Now it sounded like desperation. Then came the cherry on top. Ethan's voice message. Hey Rach. Heard you've been doing your own thing. That's cool. But Mom and Dad are kinda stressed about that article. You didn't have to mention the stuff about the nonprofit. It's making them look like they never supported you. Let's just, keep things private? I laughed. Out loud. I hadn't mentioned them at all in the article. But their guilt did that work for me. And now they were scrambling, not to make it right but to make it quiet. It came on a rainy Thursday afternoon. I was closing on my laptop when I noticed the little red light blinking on my office phone. A voicemail. I almost ignored it, but something nudged me to press play. Hi Rachel. I don't know if you remember me, but my name is Helen Jennings. I'm Marissa's sister. Her voice trembled, but not from nerves, from emotion. You probably don't realize what you did for me that night. I had just been released from a situation I never thought I'd survive. I had nothing, no ID, no coat, no dignity. I remember sitting in the back of that fundraiser, trying not to cry. And then you came over. No cameras, no stage. You gave me your scarf, sat beside me like I mattered. You didn't even ask my name, You just looked me in the eyes and said, "You're safe here." I sat frozen at my desk, a lump rising in my throat. That was the first time in years someone looked at me like I was human. She paused. "I heard about the article. I saw your face in it and I wanted to say thank you. Thank you for not needing recognition to do the right thing. Thank you for being the kind of woman I hope to become. You saved me. And I never got to say that before.
But you did.
You saved me." Tears streamed silently down my face as her words filled the room. That was it. Not a spotlight. Not a headline. Just one quiet voice reminding me that I mattered, not because I fought to be seen, but because I saw others. For so long, I had begged my family to acknowledge me. But now, a stranger had given me something far more valuable. Validation without condition. Love without strings. And for the first time, it felt like enough. They showed up at my door. I saw their silhouettes through the glass, Mom clutching her purse tightly, Dad standing a few steps behind. Ethan wasn't there. Of course not. He never showed up unless there was a spotlight involved. I opened the door just enough for the wind to slip in with them. Mom smiled like we hadn't spoken in months. "Hey, honey. Thought we'd stop by and clear the air. Maybe have dinner? There's this new place opening up. Your father thought we could celebrate everything." Everything. Like it was all just one big misunderstanding. Like they hadn't ignored me for years. Like they hadn't told me not to come. Like I wasn't still carrying the weight of their silence. I looked at them both.
Calm. Steady.
"No," I said. Mom blinked. "No to dinner? No to all of it." There was no rage in my voice. No drama. Just peace. "I'm not angry. I'm just done." Dad shifted uncomfortably. "Your family, Rachel. We just want things to go back to normal." "That was normal," I replied. "That's the problem." I didn't explain further. I didn't need to. I stepped back and gently closed the door. No slamming. No final words. Just a quiet, firm ending. It was strange, how light it felt to say goodbye without needing to be understood. To walk away without needing to prove a point. I wasn't choosing revenge. I was choosing myself. And this time, I wasn't looking back. You spend years thinking if you just try a little harder, love a little louder, sacrifice a little more, they'll finally see you. But some people don't want to see you. They just want to use your light to cast a shadow over your worth. My brother always won. The applause, the spotlight, the automatic loyalty. And I kept shrinking myself to make room for his shine, thinking that was love. But the truth is, love isn't a competition. And recognition doesn't have to be begged for. The day I stopped trying to be chosen was the day I chose myself. If you're watching this and you've been the quiet one, the reliable one, the forgotten one, let me say what no one else has. You are not too much. You are just trying to be seen in a room that never planned to open their eyes. And sometimes the most powerful move you can make is walking away without a single apology. Because your silence, that's not weakness. It's a boundary.